Hello everyone, and welcome to this short video in which I'd like to present you a tool which we have created on a request of one of our customers. The original question was if there was any possibility to ease the process of taking the inventory without having an existing connection to the ERP system. The reason behind this is that our customer has several consignment warehouses which do not provide the option to establish a connection to the central office. Previously, our customer was working with a Microsoft Excel document that listed all the items. They simply filled in the numbers and went back to the central office where they had to write them all down once again in order to have their data within the ERP system. Now obviously this does not only take a lot of time, it is also very vulnerable in terms of data validity. The need to write them down twice manually is not really what you want to do if you'd like to guarantee the correctness of the respective values. And that's where our tool comes into play, as it allows to do the inventory once and import it into the ERP system later on. But before I'll go more into detail, let me show you how it works and I'll explain it alongside. Alright, so let's just simulate what one has to do in order to do a complete stock taking. First, we need to create a count group, which is nothing but a summary of items with a similar location. So I just select some random items and confirm the creation of the count group. Also, we have to remember our identification number as it is being used to import or export. In the first tab of the application, we can enter the number of our count group and click on Import. Before the import starts, two checks will be made. Firstly, it will verify that the number we've entered actually exists. Secondly, the groups which have already been imported will be checked. If the same one's among those, it will not be imported again. Now since we've just created that one, it will pass both checks and thus import the records. Let me show you the actual file created by the application. In the application folder you'll find the directory import and in there all the count groups which have been imported. As the name suggests, the structure of the file is XML based. It has one node for each item and several child nodes for each attribute. But let's get back to the actual application. Once the import is done, we can start doing the stock taking. For this, we need to select the second tab and choose the count group we'd like to change. Now you noticed for sure that the table on the right side has just been filled. It previews all the items in our count group. However, we cannot yet start to fill in the values. As you can see, the text boxes are disabled. The reason for this is that we have to enter our name before we're allowed to capture any sort of information. Entering a name will automatically enable the text boxes and allow the user to start the counting. By default, it starts with the first item which has not yet been counted. In our case, that's item number 1, obviously. The first text box shows us the identification number of our current item. We can click into the box and change its value in order to get a different item quickly. Alternatively, we're also able to use the up and down arrow keys to jump to the next or to the previous one. Once again, you'll notice the change of the other text boxes. Their content is dynamic and changes whenever the user selects a different item. The 4 text boxes contain information on the batch, the first in, first out date, the warehouse and its location within the warehouse. These are, as I said, not changeable. However, if the user wishes to do so, one can change the date on which the item has been captured. Lastly, the amount of items needs to be filled in for the confirm button to activate. If we click on it, it'll go on to the next item on the list. From that point, we can proceed the way we did it before until we've completed the count group. All information will be saved instantaneously, yet you should click on the complete button to actually mark it as completed. It is not necessary, but it should be done anyways. We'll get to the why in just a second. Now that we have finished stock taking, let's assume we're back in the central office and want to export our count group. The application will retrieve all the count groups by itself, and depending on your choice, it will notify you whether or not the count group is already completed. That's where the button from before comes into play. If you have not yet marked the count group as complete, it will notify you. That way you can remind yourself that you wanted to change certain items or check everything once again, something like that. But for now we'll just assume that you actually want to export it and thus click on Export. And that's it. I'll show you what happened. Let's start a query on the table IVCTOF and we'll see that our records are in there. Great, everything worked the way we wanted it to. All we have to do now is going to the client and importing the records there. Select your count group and click on File, Host Jobs. Tick the Execute checkbox and enter a description of your choice, for example, Import Consignment Warehouse 4. Afterwards, fill in the location of your table and submit it. And that's it. We've successfully imported our countings. If you can relate to the situation of our customer and think you could ease a rather unfavorable process, contact us. We're able to offer you a solution that will suit your specific needs.